Static spins for beginners. So most of you know by now that I teach primarily spin pole, and there are a number of reasons for this. I did do a video on the Technique Tuesday section about static versus spinning and how they differ and how certain bodies may prefer certain choices. I'm not going to go into detail with that today. You can go check that out if you're interested. But the most important one for you guys as home polers is that static tends to require way more space. We have to travel away from the pole and we have to create these very big movements to do it justice. With spin pole, we can hug in a little bit closer, and so if we do not have as much space, it tends to be a little bit better. So one of the things people tell you to do when setting up a pole at home to make sure you have enough space is to put your hand on your pole, reach your arms out, and draw a big circle the whole way around. I don't know if you can see, but I am hitting the wall in multiple places in my pole room. The only place I have that full span is this side of the room, but I'm still able to do pretty much everything I would normally do in a studio because I tend to prefer spin pole. If I wanted to do more static at home, I just can't. I can do some basic stuff, but I can't do it justice. I can't go as big as I would like to. So for you guys at home with limited space, spin is better. You're going to prefer it. But you still need to learn how to do static spins, and a lot of them can be done in the home to a point. We just need to be careful and aware of our space. So let's talk about the technique behind static pole. So everything you've learned already at beginner level on spin pole can be translated into static with just two main points. Two simple main points, I promise. So let's talk about the pendulum theory. So a lot of people, especially because this is what we tend to do on the spin, tend to travel forwards. Now what happens if we travel forwards past the pole? It comes flying straight back, and the pole is in the way. So we're going out and we're flying straight back into the pole. What we want to do instead is come out away. So imagine where my fingers are holding the top here, that there is a pole coming straight down. And this bit at the bottom is you. So if you're in close and you go forwards and back, you're just hitting the pole. Now, there are some advanced skills that use that momentum forwards to swing back. It's very limited in what people do with that, and it is way more advanced, but that does exist. However, it's not going to help you with a lot of the stuff you're going to do on static. So instead, this is my pole here, this top piece, and then this is me over here. I'm going to go out away from the pole and I'm going to circle. And this allows me to keep spiraling around the pole, so I'm now no longer banging into it and I'm not losing momentum. Let me demonstrate this with a reverse grab. So I'll do it from a couple of angles. So this is if I'm traveling forward. This is what I see a lot of people do is they go boom, and then can you see how I'm just kind of going back into the pole? Let me show you from this angle. So this is what a lot of people do. They go boom, and then you can see I'm kind of traveling back to the other side. If I go out and around, which is the two things we need to know about static is out and around, applies to everything, then it's going to look more like this. So it's going to look more floaty and more spinny. Now, my reverse grabs look a hell of a lot better in a studio because I can go so much bigger. But hopefully that's still giving you a good visual of the difference. So with this one, I'm going out and around. Okay. So how does this apply to what we've learned at beginner level? I'm not going to look at all of them because it is pretty much the same. It's out and around. I'm going to keep saying it because it's super, super important. We'll just look at a few things because, yeah, you can then just tweak it to whatever you've been learning. So let's look at knee spin first. Sometimes the ones where we're facing the pole at the end of the spin can be the hardest to do on static because if we go too big, we can't even get to the pole. We'll be like out here somewhere. Or if we don't go big enough, we kind of lose momentum on them. So they are probably harder to do than some of the other positions, but they still work. So, knee spin. I step on my inside leg and I bring my outside leg up and I reach it away. So we know on spin pole that we stay close to the pole and we bring the knee on, and then we just push the floor away and the pole takes us. Not anymore. Step, bring the leg up. Instead of bringing it straight to the pole, it's going to go out. It's important that we're not hanging off our shoulder. So you shouldn't have your shoulder up by your ear and all of your weight hanging out of your shoulder joint. We just want to pull the shoulder slightly away from the ear without forcing it down. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to start to go out and around. So don't just push forwards. So this is my pole. I'm not going this way. I'm going this way. Out, around. So I step on my inside leg. My outside leg comes out. I'm going to keep traveling out. And then I'm going to bring my legs on. And it creates a nicer circle. Again, I'm still limited on space, so I really cannot go very big. But I still get way more than if I go here, here, here. Out and around. That's your key. Let's look at fireman next. So inside arm high. I step on my inside leg and I hook my outside ankle for fireman. I'm sure you remember. But I'm not just going to put it there like I do on spin. I'm going to lean out away from the pole. My whole body is coming out. And then my leg is going to circle in a really big circle. And then it's going to go to the pole. And then I get my spin. Things like our front hook are slightly different. Sorry, I've not been very well. So with our knee spin and our fireman, it is our outside leg that kind of creates some of that momentum. Now it's going to be the inside leg. But that leg is still going out and around. So I step on my outside leg. My leg comes across the body out. And then as I put it onto the pole, I push my hips forward. And I slide. So hopefully you can see how it applies. It is the same no matter what you're doing on static if you're trying to create spin, out and around. Hopefully that makes sense. As always, any questions, let me know. And don't forget to train smarter, not harder.